boosting my ego. Overly focused is far from the time to rest now. Debates growing about who they think is the best now.
Alright, we gotta pause it before we get copyrighted. What's going on, team? Welcome to this weekend's weekly market breakdown for the week of July 6th through the 11th. Alright, we're good. I hear myself. Gonna give everybody till 3:35 to join. We'll give everybody another 4 minutes. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Hope everyone had a good long weekend as well for our American watchers. But let's get locked in, man. Let's get ready for this new trading week. I'm excited for it. This was a well-needed break for sure, man. I was locked in. But I got some time to decompress this weekend, which was great. So, ready to get back on the charts, man. Again, gonna give everybody till 3:35 to join, then we'll get started. Any questions, let me know. Any pairs you guys want me to go over in specific, let me know. Again, the ones that we go over here on the stream, which is the same ones we look at during our live trading session in the mornings, are the ones that you see on the right hand side with the red flag next to their name. Starting off with AUDUSD, finishing off with USOIL. We will be going in order from the top to the bottom, but again, if there's a pair that's not on my list that you guys want me to go over, just let me know. If there's a pair on my list that you look at, for example, if you want me to look over GJ, we'll get to it. We'll go in order from the top to the bottom, so just wait on it and we'll get there. I'm not sick, but I feel a little... What's the word I'm looking for? Feeling a little sick. Long story short. But I'm good. I got my water next to me and shit, so I'm good. I don't like that I can't play music on YouTube, but it's all good. I'll have to find a playlist for YouTube streams, because this gets quiet, man. Especially just waiting here. On the WAP streams though, I can play what I want. I guess that works. Oh man, you know what I left downstairs? I completely forgot. My fucking laundry. I was like, I'm gonna take an hour before I do the class, do my laundry. I did my laundry, I put it in the basket, folded the clothes, and I left it downstairs. No. I messed up, man. I messed up. Alright guys, we'll get started here in a few seconds. Again, any questions, let me know. Any pairs you guys want me to go over, let me know before we get started. Let me fix my time real quick. Alright, again, we're gonna go over the daily time frame. At this point, we will update our daily time frame if we need to. obviously update our 4-hour time frame, 4-hour highs, 4-hour lows. Do the same thing on the 30-minute, 30-minute highs, 30-minute lows. Daily time frame, talk about where we're at in the overall market makers pattern, where we're at in the overall trend, what we're looking for, so on and so forth. Kindly check on gold and US30. I got you. Gold and US30 are two pairs we do go over. We're going in order, so once we get there, we'll get there towards the end with US30 and gold. Alright, so AU, overall we know we're still in the downtrend. We're still in level 3 in a downtrend, right? We had A2, which is the second zone of consolidation. We got the break, which again, when we're looking at the trend, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and we're just looking for this lower high to be set. Again, we've been talking about our 2 points of interest on AU, which is 800 EMA as the first point of interest as to where price is going to give us the lower high and then continue the downtrend, or our second point of interest, which is this 30-minute gap that we have in the market, where price again is just going to come up, fill this gap, and then start that downtrend push, right? So at this moment, we're just looking to see where the lower high is going to be set. Right now, we can see price is still giving us higher high, higher low, and higher high in the internal time frame, which now if we go into the 4-hour and the 30-minute time frame, that's where that internal push is going to be. On the 4-hour time frame, let's go ahead and add a few weekly lines here. Again, this is the weekly output. So for example, this is a week of rise where the market pushed up for an entire week, Monday through Friday. This week was just a week where price consolidated, just moved sideways the entire week, Monday through Friday. This is another week, right? Last week, price pushed up Monday through Friday. Right, I'm sorry, this past week, price pushed up as well. Pushed up Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday through Friday, it just moved sideways until the end of the week. But we ended up pushing up to the top side. Right, so I'm just adding a few lines here so we can see the weekly output real quick. Market opens at 5 p.m. on Sunday. Sunday. Just gonna add a few lines just to make sure this finished on a week. We might have to update this going into tomorrow. This is only an 8 pip, about a 7 pip difference, so price could always open with a gap. A 7 pip gap is not something out of this world, so it could possibly finish on a no net. It wouldn't be a week of rise, but we'll confirm that when the market opens. We have a few hours left. Right, but overall, remember what we're looking for. We're looking for price to turn around. Right now, price is still making higher highs and higher lows. So we can't be looking for those downtrend pushes until price starts giving us higher highs and higher lows. And on the 30-minute time frame, and again, everything is color coordinated. Remember that. 4-hour highs and lows are blue. The daily highs and lows are gray. The 30-minute highs and lows are red. So on the 30-minute time frame, you can see structure gave us higher high, higher low. Boom, gave us this higher high, and price has not given us a break of these highs or a low. So in the 30-minute time frame, we know that we're still in an uptrend. We're still looking for price to give us a set higher low to continue that uptrend push. So I already know at this point I'm not going to be looking for price to be going down anymore. We had 2 days of rise, which was Wednesday and Thursday. Friday gave us a third push to the bottom. After 3 days of drop, I know the market's either gonna give us a zone of consolidation on the 4th day, or price is gonna push up to the top side. Alright, and we're still just consolidating in this area too. The lows that we want to see price break are these lows down here, and we can see that price inducing the lows the entire time. So gotta wait it out. Before I could look for shorts, I either need to see price. Let's draw it with this. I need to see a clean break of these lows to then go down here. And then these lows price is either going to reject the lows and go back up, right, to continue the uptrend push, or this is where we're going to see price give us a break and retest to continue the push to the bottom side. So it's just a waiting game, right? Once you just chop it up and you see these areas, like, okay, where do we avoid getting into a trade? I know that in this area, I'm going to avoid getting into a trade, right? If we're in the idea of where could we look for shorts, right? In this area, I'm avoiding it until when? Until we get the break and the retest. This is where I'll get in, right? And then once we get in, boom, we have full clean push back down to the bottom. We get out of the trade. When am I getting back in? Well, if price gives us a rejection and it starts giving us higher highs and higher lows, we know that we could get in here to just continue the uptrend push. Because again, remember, do not forget, we're still trading higher high, higher low, higher high. We're looking for that higher low to be set, right? If this higher low isn't set here, then what? Well, okay, cool. Then we know that we're going to wait for price to break, retest, and this is when I'm going to get in to go short. So again, we're just piecing the structure together. Again, I always say it. It's like coding. When you're coding, when you're programming, right? What's the language? If this, then that. If that, then this. It's the same thing. Avoid getting in early. Wait for the confirmations. Why am I not getting in here? Because we know that, okay, if price doesn't break these lows, we're just going to continue to push to the top side. But we need to wait for that confirmation, right? So again, everything is traded the same way. So everything that I say about AUDUSD is going to be the same thing that I say about GJ, GU, US oil, gold. It's all traded the same way. So I'm gonna, if you guys want to take a screenshot, go ahead. I'm gonna delete this because there's a lot on my screen, but you guys get the gist of things. The only thing I'm gonna leave on my screen is that my shit froze because of all the shit that I have here. No, man. This is crazy. Hold on. Only thing I'm gonna leave the trend line that I created at the bottom here. Alright, everything else we'll delete, because again, we already have everything to tell us. Again, our 30-minute high is a red box, 30-minute low is the red bottom box. So we already know what zones we're trading in. After 3 days of drop, the market must either move sideways or go up. So starting off for this week, again, my area of interest is going to be these lows. If price doesn't break these lows, I know that for tomorrow at least, today going into tomorrow once the market opens, I'm going to be looking for price either break these lows. That's when I'll start looking for shorts again, or we're going to be looking for price to give us the inducement of the low to then start the uptrend push. But again, gotta wait for those confirmations. So AU is looking good. At least we know it's following the trend still. And it's a very similar, if you guys remember the trades that we took on Thursday, right? The GU trade and the EU trade is very similar to what AU is doing now, just opposite. So it's not looking bad. Damn, man, I brought water and I'm already almost going through it. You know, like, I'm not coughing, so I'm not super sick, but I just feel off, if that makes any sense. AUDCAD. We're still in A1. Again, A1 is the first zone of consolidation. So we're still looking for price to give us a valid break of these lows. Once again, once you zoom in and you start looking at the candlesticks, you see that these are not valid break of structures. These are all testing candles. Same thing here. These were testing candles, right? These were the testing candles. None of these candles gave us a break of the lows. So at this point, we gotta wait for structure to shift, right? I don't trust this being lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. But if it is, then this is where I want to start seeing price in the internal time frame start giving us lower lows and lower highs, right? So at this moment, we don't have any continuations on the daily time frame. On the 4-hour, we had 2 weeks of counter rise. This week being the third week, price gave us a third push to the top side, but finished on a push to the bottom. No engulfing candles anywhere. And then we had 2 days of drop. Friday being the third day gave us a third day push to the bottom. Which is not bad actually. Like if I was paying attention to AUDCAD, right, just think about it. These are all the rules you have to be following, right? So this is a good one to keep an eye on, right? And this is definitely a trade that I would say is a missed opportunity. And this is the reason why. But I'll also give you the reason why not. But I don't even want to get into the why not. Let's just simplify it and let's talk about the reason as to why it was a missed opportunity. So let's put all our rules together, right? And this is a chart that you can see that I haven't really updated AUDCAD. I really don't trade AUDCAD like that anyway. So again, it's the reason why I'm saying it's not really a missed opportunity, but you want to capitalize. The reason I'm not married to one single chart or one single pair is because your rules are going to be given to you on every single pair. It's just on you to be actually following your rules. Because again, if you are following a system, a real system, I promise you, you're not taking trades every single day. Why? Because your rules are not being displayed on the chart every single day. I promise you they're not. And if they are being displayed, then there's something wrong with your trading system. Because if you're telling me that your trades are being displayed on the charts every single day and you're still unprofitable, then there's something wrong. There's something wrong with your system that you're overlooking. Right? And a lot of people want to simplify trading. And unfortunately, there is no simplifying trading. Because if you don't know market structure, which is something that a lot of people overlook for some reason, you're just not, trading is not going to go well with you, for you. It's not. There's no other way I could put it. I'm trying to think of other ways to kind of make it make sense, but you can't come into trading and just be like, oh, I see the 50 EMA and the 200 EMA cross and I'm going to take that trade. It's like you're going to win 20% of your trades. That's not good. Right? If you don't understand the reason as to why or why not it's a valid trade or an invalid trade, and have a real reason as to why, trading is going to be very difficult in the long run. Again, Steve Morrow said it the best. If you want this to be a hobby, just stop doing it. Take up photography. Photography is a lot cheaper than trading, I promise you. It's a lot cheaper and it's a lot better for your mental health. This shit is not easy. Steve Morrow said it the best. So it's something that you guys are gonna have to take very serious. So let's cut it into pieces. So we know that we're in A2. Or I'm sorry, A1. We're in the first zone of consolidation looking for level 2. So what do we know about level 2? We know that we're looking for entries. One of our confirmations, right, is entry is the bounce off the 200 EMA in level 2. Right? So we already know, boom, one of our confirmations for our entries is off the 200 EMA on the downtrend, right? Boom. So now what? You zoom in, we're still in the daily time frame. Just think about how fucking simple we're making this shit, right? Where are we? 200 EMA. Let's circle this, or we'll keep this red. So now what? You go to the 4-hour time frame. Okay, cool. What's happening here? Well, perfect. What's happening here is that we're in a little zone of consolidation. In a small zone, nothing too crazy. right? Where price has been rejecting lows and rejecting highs for how long? We could see that. It's very simple, right? We haven't done anything too crazy, I hope, right? Again, if this isn't making sense, let me know. But this should start making sense as to how we piece this together, right? It's like, okay. And this is why I'm saying this was a missed opportunity, because I didn't see this last week. I just wasn't paying attention to AUDCAD. I was more focused. I already took EUGU and what was it? I fucking need to remember the third trade. US30 all in the same day. So I was good off of trading pretty much for the rest of the week. But AUDCAD played out perfectly. Rejected the highs. Once it rejected the highs, okay, cool. You go down to the lower time frame, 30-minute time frame, where you want to start looking for your entries, right? What happened at the highs? Perfect. You didn't get a break of structure, but on Thursday, you got the change of character. You got the 50 to cross below the 200. Price bounce off the 200. Stop loss above it, right? And then STP was 38 pips on Thursday. So 38 pips, just think about it. This is the trade that we would have taken. Just for the people to see what this shit's about. And this is just one confirmation of an entry. This isn't even the full spectrum, right? This was just a simple pullback, you know, waiting for more confirmations. My confirmation that price is going to go lower, right? This is where we take a step back. What do we wait for? Well, now we're waiting for a valid break. If price doesn't give us a valid break of these lows, then we know price is just going to continue to push back to the top side. And that's okay. Again, why is it okay? Because again, price didn't give me a valid break of these. Give me 1 second. My bad, guys. E just called me. He's back. No, he's not. Yeah, I fucking need Albert to be here, bro. or Mohammed. Yo, he's back. Oh, bro, that's funny. We're looking for a valid break of these lows, right? Which is again the reason why I'm not expecting this to go lower. But again, if it does go lower, we have our confirmations. So again, at this point, we start going into a 30-minute time frame. And again, if price gives us a valid break of these lows, then cool. We'll continue to go short. You know, we'll start looking for price to start giving us more lower lows and lower highs, and we'll continue to take those trades. But if price doesn't give us a valid break of these lows, then we know we're just going to continue that uptrend push into the top of the zone consolidation. And price is just counter trending. And again, that's okay if it is. We'll just have to wait for those confirmations. So this is why I say that this was a missed opportunity on Thursday for sure. Should have been focused on this trade a little bit more. Or on this pair, I guess. But this is a picture perfect trade. That was literally what we look for. Alright, so nothing to update here just yet. I took a, let me see. Alright, we'll keep the zone of consolidation here. We could drop, yep, perfect. And then nothing, okay, cool. Go on to the next one. And again, guys, every single pair is traded the exact same way. There's nothing different that I do. The only difference is that some pairs are uptrending, the other pairs are downtrending. Some are in level 1, which some are in level 3, and some are in peak high and peak low tear. That's the only difference, right? Euro AUD, we know we're in level 3. We've reached almost peak high, not yet. We're still in level 3 in an uptrend. So we're still looking for those higher highs and higher lows. Still have that gap at the bottom of the market. No continuations on the daily time frame. On the 4 hour, we already had 3 weeks of rise. Add a few lines, give me 1 second. had a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then this week price is pretty close. It's still just moving sideways. Hasn't given us a break of the highs. Yeah, it did finish on a no net this week too. So yeah, price is just moving sideways. Reset the trend, but we already know we're still in the zone of consolidation. Weekly no net. That we could see a little bit closer on the 30-minute time frame. Right, EURAUD has been a pair we haven't traded in a few days. Price gave us a little tap of the 30-minute high, but I'm not gonna count it. I'm not gonna say that we're trading between that high and this low. I mean, we could. This is a good area. I mean, I have no problem with saying that we're trading from the top of the zone of consolidation to the bottom. You know what I mean? But giving us this area to the bottom, like, I don't want to focus on. How do I explain this to make this a little bit make more sense for everybody? Like, when price is trending down, I don't want to focus on this low here being the zone as to where price is going to consolidate, right? Because I'm not saying that this little tap that price gave us here is a break of structure, right? So I'm still considering this as the higher low, right? And this as the higher high, and we're just ignoring these candles up here. So we're in this entire zone here, right? Because this is the reason a lot of people get trapped in this area thinking that this is where price is going to pull back to then continue. But realistically speaking, price still has a little bit more area to go down to then go back up, right? So I try to always keep this as clean as possible, right? We understand that we don't have a real breakup here, so this can't be the higher low. This is going to be the area where a lot of traders are going to be trapped. They're going to fake them out thinking that price is going to go up to then go back down, hit the stop losses, and then again fake them out again thinking that this is going to be the break, right? This is what, I don't want to call nobody out, but this is what it is, right? This is what smart Roger concepts, right? This is what the SRC, right? That's Roger Banks. He teaches breakouts, but sometimes a breakout isn't always going to lead to a continuation, right? If you're not following the trend, the breakout of the low is just going to be a trap, right? It's going to induce the traders to then go into the real direction. Could you capitalize on these small moves going short? Yeah, absolutely. You know, again, if you have a fucking $10 million account and you're catching 2 pips on gold, you know, you could capitalize on 2 pips. But if you have a real account, you're catching those small pip moves again on a pair like EURAUD. Okay, it has 112 pips as ADR. It has STP 78. Maybe you'll capitalize on 30 pips on a small move. But why would you risk for 30 when you know that the real move is going to give you 78 to 112 pips? I would rather catch the real move, right? And that's the whole point. So avoid getting into these areas. Wait for price to get into the real areas, to the real points of interest, and then take the trade. Always trade with the trend. That's the best way I could put it. So I'm going to keep these areas the same. I'm not going to change them. And I don't like name dropping, bro, because then people think I'm talking shit. But I'm not. I'm just giving you guys an example. Whether you agree or disagree at this point, you know, I'll ask you a question. Are you agreeing or are you disagreeing out of emotion? Or are you disagreeing because you want to prove me wrong? In the sense of just, nah, this is why you're wrong and I don't agree with your opinion. Then we could have a genuine conversation and be like, yo, you know what? Show me what you mean then. Right, so let's wait for price to give us a solid confirmation to know where we're going. EURCAD. We are in level 2, right? This is one that we've been saying this for a little bit. You know, I don't know if we should say this is level 2. I don't know if we should say we're in PKI territory level 3. How do we map this up? The reason is, again, there's a lot of confirmations that's telling me that this is level 3, and a lot of other things that's like, I just don't like where we're at. It just doesn't make any sense at this point. But again, everything that we've been talking about since Thursday night, right? I think it was Thursday night that we talked about this. You know, in level 3, how do the EMAs look? What EMA do we want to see price bounce off of? You know, how does level 2 look? The crossings of those, you know, it's everything is there, right? It was just everything, oh, excuse me. Everything happened so quick, right? Because we're talking about, okay, if level 2 was formed, and then we went from level 2 to the second zone of consolidation, that was from February to June, which is not that long. And then now we're starting that level 3 push to go into where the previous peak high was, right? And again, just zooming out to this, at the end of the day, when we zoom out super far out and just look overall, shit doesn't make sense anyway at this point. So EURCAD is on my, I'm still gonna keep EURCAD on my list. We're still gonna keep an eye on it, because at the end of the day, we're just gonna continue to follow structure. If it wants to continue the push to the top side, it's going to be very similar to trading a pair like gold or trading a pair like US30. We're just going to have to follow structure. If we want to start looking for shorts, we just got to wait for the change of character break of structure to happen to then continue. And if it doesn't give us a change of, or if it gives us a change of character and it just continues to make higher highs, higher lows, then we know we can start taking those trades. So it's just a pair that we're going to have to babysit until it gives us solid confirmations as to what it wants to do and where it wants to go. And again, I have no problem with that, but this is definitely a pair where I'm gonna have to just wait a little bit longer. So EURCAD is gonna start being a pair very similar to how US30 was for a few months, where I just had to babysit it, and then when the time is right to attack it, alright, then take the trade. Just wait for the confirmations. Again, if we have 2 weeks of rise going into a third week, we already know we could take that third week. Alright, and that's what happened last week. Soon as the market opened, gave us the push straight back to the top side. After 3 weeks of rise, the market must chop or drop. Either again, move sideways or go down, and we moved down a little bit. It could go up and give us a no net. But again, we'll update that very similar to AU. We'll update it on Monday when the market opens. Well, tonight when the market opens, but we'll look at it tomorrow morning in the live trading session. You know what? Fuck it, yo. I'm gonna do it, because even if we say like this has to be a zone of consolidation, this has to be a pullback, like it gave us a valid break, you know, I don't mind changing this anymore. So we're gonna say that we're trading between this high or low. I'm gonna use this entire area just so we have a little bit more space, and this higher high over here. And again, I'm gonna use this entire area just so we have a little bit of space. This is a daily time frame, it's a big area. Right? We're still making higher highs and higher lows, and then at this point too, I'm gonna put, again, like this would be level 3. We're pretty much trading in peak high territory. What happened to my line? Right? Like this is what we're trading now. And then our zone of consolidation. I don't mind putting this like this at all anymore. Last week I was a little bit skeptical about it. I was like, I don't want to do this. But I mean, at this point, we don't really have another choice. Right? At this point, it's, unless told otherwise, right? But this is what makes sense at this point. And something's not right here. Let me update this, guys. Give me 1 second. My bad. April, May. February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. November. Okay, what am I missing here? December. January. Okay. Right, so now this looks cleaner, right? At least that's the whole point, right? So like, let's try to make this as clean as possible, right? Because that's what we want. We want to at least know, right, where are we trading? Right, my bad. I don't know why I just turned that on for in the 4-hour time frame. I'm tripping out. Same thing, right? On the 4-hour now we're trading higher high, higher low. Right, we know that this was the higher high over here. Right, and then all of this trend back to the top side, we're trading between this 4-hour high and this 4-hour low. I'm gonna give myself a little bit more room in the 4-hour time frame. I'm gonna use this red one here and this bottom wick here. Right, and then the 4-hour high. Okay. Alright, so EURCAD, let's break it down again. So EURCAD, we're in level 3, pretty much in peak high territory. Right, so let's update this. Alright, so level 3 is 50 EMA, so let's change this to blue. And we are in level 3 rise. And the market maker pattern is on the daily time frame. Right, so we already know where we're at. Daily time frame, we're trading on a higher high. 4-hour time frame, we're trading at a higher high. And on the 30-minute time frame, what's happening on the 30-minute time frame? Now on the 30-minute time frame, price gave us higher high, higher low, higher high, and it gave us the first move change of character, lower low, to tell us, or at least to give us a heads up like, hey, price might turn around. What does that mean for us? Well, let's break it down. If price gives us a valid break of structure after the change of character, what does that mean? That price is just going to give us a pullback. It's going to go lower, right? And again, remember, we're trading in a higher high. At a higher high, what are we looking for? We're looking for a higher low to be set, right? Because again, remember, we're trading higher high, higher low, higher high. Right, so what are we looking for? Couldn't this, let's change this to green here. Right, wouldn't we be looking for price to go from a higher high to a higher low? Oh shit, that makes a lot of sense. Oh, right, that makes a lot of sense, right? Daily time frame is here, sorry. Right, so once you start breaking it down and you're like, okay, cool. In order for a higher high to be set, we need to make sure that on the 30-minute time frame, on the lower time frame, that we get that change of character, and then after the change of character, we get that break of structure. If price gives us this break retest, then we'll continue the push down to the bottom. And what does this look like on the daily time frame? Oh shit, doesn't this make sense? Right, you start piecing it together, you start looking for the areas, and that's it. It starts making sense. On the daily time frame is the green line, higher high going into the higher low. On the 30-minute time frame, on the lower structure, what makes up that trend is that lower time frame move, where again, if price gives you the break of structure, you know that you could take that downtrend push, that continuation back down, which is again the same thing that we did for EU, the same thing that happened for GU, and the same thing for US30. It's the exact same trade. It's just giving the confirmation of, alright, higher high, let's take the pullback. Fuck it. We have the confirmation. 30-minute engulfing candle, the retest, the continuation, straight to take profit. Right? In the higher low, what happened with EU? Alright, I was already done for the day. Higher low on GU in the 30-minute even gave you another engulfing candle. Straight back to the top of where? The top of the zone of consolidation. So if you wanted to take that trade too, boom, you have it. From a higher high, from a higher low, going back to a higher high, reject the highs, go back down. Alright, we're in a zone of consolidation. Price is still rejecting lows, still rejecting highs. Right, so you can see how, again, every single pair is traded the exact same way. There's no difference. It's all the same thing. So we have 2 days of drop on the third day, gave us a day of rise, again, counter trends. So we'll wait it up, we'll wait for the confirmation. Right now for EUROCAD, just gonna take a step back, and we'll keep these drawn out here. Again, if anything's not making sense, let me know, guys, and we'll go over it. I'll explain it again. This is what these streams are for. Euro USD, I am gonna start speeding up because, again, all these trades are the exact same way. They're all treated the same. Where I'm looking for the same thing on every single pair. Again, only difference, some are uptrending, some are downtrending. It's the only difference, but it's the same thing. But let's make sure we update everything we need to update. So for Euro USD, we're in level 2 in an uptrend. This is V1, first zone of consolidation. Looking for that second push to the top side. Perfect. We had the break, higher high, higher low. Price gave us another higher high. We have a month push to the top side. On the 4 hour, we had rise no net, reset the trend, gave us a gap in the market, also resets the trend. Week of rise, gave us 2 weeks of rise, but this week, this is 26 pips. We'll say 2 weeks of rise. We'll see. Right, but we know that we're overall just kind of in a sideways movement pattern here. And we're still trading between the same higher high and higher low. So I'm definitely not going to really be looking to take anything here as of right now. Just going to wait for price to kind of get out of this area. And again, the reason why is just we're trading at a higher high. Sorry, wrong time frame. We're trading at a higher high. Right? So regardless, I want to see a pullback. Right? Maybe, you know, I would love to see a pullback back down to this 30-minute gap. I don't think we'll get such a steep pullback back down to the low of the zone of consolidation at this point, but I definitely think that we could reach this 30-minute gap at least. And again, just thinking about where we're at, we're in level 2. Again, in level 2, what are we looking for? We're looking for price to bounce off the 200 EMA. Right? At this point, we have the 50 cross above the 200, which is perfect. I would love to see a pullback back down to here, and this pullback is exactly where the 200 EMA is. So again, it's just piecing the puzzle together. It's understanding, like, okay, we're trading higher high, higher low, higher high. I'm looking for a higher low. Regardless of how we slice this up, I want to see a pullback. So I'm not going to be even looking to take a trade here. Now again, we understand the market moves in two ways. Either a trend or it consolidates. So even if price decides to give us a huge zone of consolidation of sideways movement here for the next week, for the next 2 weeks, for the next 3 weeks, what am I looking for? I still have to wait for price to either give us a break of these highs to then look for an entry to then continue, or we're going to be looking for price to give us an inducement of the lows to then continue. So regardless, I'm not really going to be looking to take any more trades in this area. Right? Why did we take this one? Oh, but you took a trade here. Yes, because we had the inducement of the high. This is the high that was set. Price gave us the inducement. It gave us the 30-minute engulfing, and it went down. It established that this is the top of the trend. Okay, this is the top of the trend, and this is the bottom of the trend. Cool, that's it. Once you establish the top and the bottom, now you can start attacking the charts. Now it makes so much more sense. So now I know, okay, cool. We got the trade from the top to the bottom. Perfect. Now I'm gonna wait for the fucking move to happen. Now I'm gonna wait for the real move to happen. I'm avoiding any trade that's happening in these areas here. And I'm either gonna wait for the inducement of the low to then go high, or I'm gonna wait for price to break these highs to then look for the entries to continue. Everything else that's happening in here is just trapping traders, is making you believe that this is gonna be the double top break, the retest to continue to go short, and then what happens? Price hits your stop loss, and then makes you believe that this is where price is gonna continue, and then boom, goes back down and hits your stop loss again. How many times did you guys see that? How many of you guys lose money when price is trending this way? That is why avoiding these areas is very important. Just waiting for price to react. Wait for price to give you the confirmations and then take the trades. Again, I'm going to delete all of that. So if you guys want to take a screenshot, go right ahead. But that's the, again, same thing we talked about on AU, man. There's no difference. So EU just gonna wait it out. GA on the daily time frame. We are in level 3 and an uptrend pretty much already in previous peak high. Price is still just moving sideways. We're in a zone of consolidation on the daily time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, we can see it a little bit more clearly where price is rejecting highs and rejecting lows. Let's add a few lines here real quick. Right, no continuations. We have a week of counter drop, where again price is just rejecting highs and these lows. So still no trading for me on GA. Still moving counter. Gave us a change of character, gave us a break of structure, lower low, lower high, lower low. Right, and at this point price gave us a day of rise, 2 days of rise, but we're still trading again lower low, lower high, lower low. So I'm not going to be taking any of these trades. Price is just I'm gonna let price do what it has to do in these areas. Alright, we're in a huge zone of consolidation. So again, this is where the market makers are trapping traders, inducing traders, collecting contracts, hitting your stop losses, right? Stop loss hunting, stop hunt highs, hit the mayos, right? Like whatever you guys want to call it. This is the area to stay away from. Right, this is where the turtle comes to steal your soup or whatever it is. GCAD, very similar to like what ECAD looks like, I believe it was, right? The one that we were saying, level 3. But we know that we're reaching back to the top, right? We have peak high all the way up here. At this point, we're in level 3 in an uptrend. We have 2 months of rise, which was for this past month in June and April, May, June, right? May and June. So for the month of July, I'm looking for that 3rd month push, right? Level 3, what are we looking for? Price bounce off the 50 EMA. Perfect. We're on the 50 EMA. We got the pullback, right? What we didn't get, which is something I would have loved to have had, we did not get a valid break of these highs. If price would have given me higher high, higher low, and if price would have given me this higher high up here, then yeah, I would have said, oh, fucking 100%. We're gonna get a dope pullback between 23.6 and 38.2. This is on the 50 EMA. Hell yeah, I would love to take this trade. Right, we would have been in this like fucking swimwear, right? Where the E, I think that's the shit he used to say. Right, but this isn't the right entry for me. Why? Because price gave us exhaustion candles. It gave us inducement candles. This is not a valid break of structure. So price could go back down to the bottom. 100% it could go right back down to the bottom. And I'm aware of that. I see that. That allows me to not get into these trades when we're getting trapped into them. Now your question should be, well, if you don't get in now, then when are you getting in? Perfect. This is where the lower time frame comes into handy. Why? Just think about it. Fuck. Wrong button, sorry. At this point on the 30-minute time frame, where are we trading, right? So now the lower time frame. Watch what I'm going to do here. 30-minute time frame, where are we trading? Lower low, lower high, lower low, and price gave us the change of character higher high, right? So now your next question should be, well, okay, in order for you to know that the uptrend is going to continue, don't you need to see a break of structure after the change of character? The answer is yes. Your next question should be, well, if it gives us the valid break, at this point that 3rd month high would already be hit, so we would miss the trade. Correct. Now, this is where it gets more technical, because now you want to go into the 1 minute, the 5-minute time frame. Let's see if the 5-minute works here. Now you're looking for the trend inside of the trend inside of the trend. You could use the 5-minute here. It wouldn't be too bad. You could use the 1 minute too. 1 minute would be a lot more, but we could get away with the 5-minute here. So in the 5-minute, again, I'm just gonna draw this and delete it because I'm not gonna need all of this on my screen. It's gonna be way too much shit on my screen. But we're trading higher high, higher low, higher high, boom, change of character, lower low. Right, I'm not gonna say all of this. I'm just gonna say this is all one move, right? Lower low. Zoom out. Right, lower low, lower high. Right, price then gave us low, change of character, high. Right, and then it gave us change of character, low, lower high, low, then gave us change of character high, higher low, higher high, then gave us change of character low, lower high, then it gave us lower low, then it gave us lower high, then it gave us lower low, and then now we're trading between, right, what was this lower low, right, lower high, lower low, and now we're trading change of character higher high, right? So in order for me to now start looking for these buys, again, remember, if we're saying that this is the higher low to continue the push to the top side, right, on the daily time frame, if we're saying that this is that 3rd level push to the top side bounce off the 50 EMA, in order for us to say that this is where price is going to give us the higher low to continue that 3rd month push to the top side, again, make sure we're on the same page. On the 30-minute time frame, we're on the 50 EMA as well. In order for me to have a valid confirmation that, okay, we could start looking for trades now, it's gonna be once price gives us a valid break of structure after this change of character. Look at how we just pieced that together. Again, it might look like a lot of information. For a lot of people, you might be like, yo, this guy's fucking speaking Chinese. I'm out of here. I get it. Trust me, I understand. Right, so the confirmation, in order for me to start looking for buys on GCAD, I need to see a valid break of these highs. If price doesn't break these highs, no trades for me. No bueno. Okay, buddy. Thank you. Alright, so we'll wait for the valid break. Once we get the valid break, we'll start looking for trades. If we don't get a valid break, then we don't look for any trades. It's that simple, guys. There's really no, it's not rocket science, you know what I mean? Like, you either wait for the break or you don't. If you want to take a trade before the break, then yo, by any means, go ahead, bro. By all means, I mean, you know, do it. Go ahead. Let me know how it goes. We'll celebrate. Take the trade before the break. Go ahead. Go do it. Right, at this point, we're pretty close to being a no net. 7 pips. We'll just put a fucking no net. We'll know it's gonna be a no net. We'll update this when the market opens. Again, we have a few hours for that, so. But GCAD is one that I'm gonna put on the watch list, so bear with me. Let me write this in the Discord. Daily where am I writing this? Weekly charts. We'll do it in the daily Forex analysis. We'll put 07 2025 watch list. GBPCAD 3rd month high. Keep an eye on lower structure to find entries. Okay. Any question, guys? Let me know, man. For real, for real. GJ daily time frame. You guys will see all of this is treated the same way. GJ, we're in PCAD territory. I'm not really going to be focused on GJ too much. I'm just going to update this if we need to. Still trading between the same daily high and daily low. On the 4-hour time frame, let's go ahead and I'm just going to speed this up a little bit. I don't want to stay here for 2 hours, guys. Again, any questions, just let me know, but I am going to speed up. Nothing to update on the weekly high and weekly low. We had 2 weeks of rise. Price did not give us that third push to the top side, which is okay. We're at the top of the zone of consolidation on that daily and 4-hour time frame. So not really expecting price to do anything. I'm waiting for a break. I'm not trading in the zone of consolidation. I've been waiting here like a very good boy. And I've been wanting to take these trades. And I'm like, man, I'm not going to do it. And again, these are the reasons why. Again, if you know, you know. I'm not going to name any traders. But I was purposely, I was looking at GJ on Thursday. Because I saw somebody take a trade here. And I'm like, man, you know. If you know, you know. But, you know, after 3 days of drop, the market must either move sideways or go up. You know, the market doesn't care that you think a 50% fib retracement is going to be your entry to take a short. You know, after 3 days of drop. But, you know, what do we know? Beautiful moves. Again, I'm not really trading GJ. I just want to keep an eye on it. At this point, we have a change of character. Right, on the 30-minute, our confirmation that price is going to continue this uptrend push, and you guys will see that once the market opens. Again, if you know, you know. He's going to post a story on Instagram, and he's going to be in some buy positions on GJ when the market opens. And you know, we'll see if Friday treats him better than Thursday. But if I could trade on other traders, like, you know, bet on other traders, I would do that, man. I'd be a fucking, that'd be crazy. You think this person's gonna win or this person's gonna win? We'll wait for the valid break. If we could get a valid break, we'll know we'll continue that uptrend push. Would be great, right? We'll have our confirmation that price would finally want to break out of the zone of consolidation. If not, then again, we know that from the top we go right back down to the bottom. So we'll wait it out. And again, I'm not really expecting GJ to go down. I'm really not. I think GJ is going to... I think we'll potentially be seeing another push from GJ. But realistically speaking, I don't know. It's difficult. GJ is a difficult one right now, which where we're at. Because you go and you look at any other EJ or another JPY pair. Where's EJ at? Right, like EJ gave a break, but again, it's more about where do we think price is gonna push. Like, okay, technically we're still in an uptrend. Like, technically we're still making higher high, higher low, higher high. This is still a higher low, right? So, you know, I can't come here and say that, oh, this is gonna be the first zone of consolidation. We can't. We don't have a change of character. We don't have a break of structure. We don't have anything here that's told us that price is turning around. Nothing, right? When we're looking at market structure again alone, I'm just looking at market structure, higher highs and higher lows. There's nothing telling me here that price has turned around, right? I think it's the same with UJ, right? UJ looks a lot better. UJ makes a little bit more sense, right? Because UJ at least did give us like a valid, you know, change of character, but it didn't give us a break of structure, but it's giving us a zone of consolidation. So at least for UJ, it's giving us a little bit more clarity, like, hey, no, we might be on a downtrend, but right now we're still consolidating, right? Let's wait for price to give us a confirmation. But that's exactly what UJ is doing. So out of the three of those JPY pairs, again, I don't want to say that GJ looks horrible because it looks very similar to how the UJ one, but out of the three, UJ is the one that looks the best structure wise. So again, I'm not gonna be fighting with this pair going back and forth. If this wants to be the top as to where price is going to give us the rejection of the highs to then start going short, then perfect. I need to start seeing some continuations, right? Either that's going to be 2 months of drop or 2 weeks of drop, or it's going to be 2 days of drop looking for a third day push. But I also need to start seeing valid change of characters and break of structures in the lower time frame, which again at this point, did we really have that? Not really. Right, it looked like price wanted to give us that, right? Higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low, lower high. Oh, change of character, break of structure, but price in this area was pretty much still. You zoom out,
The man,
you
the
really
myth, the
start
legend.
seeing, right? Higher high, higher low. You know, could we really say
Is
that
the
this was
man,
just
the myth, the
upward and
legend
same?
right there?
Hold on, bro. Give me a second.
Oh
Yo, I'm
shit.
doing the class real quick.
Oh, okay.
If you want to, I'll keep my screen shared.
Bet. I'm gonna tune in. I got you.
When we're looking for the trend here on GJ, we could really just say that we're trading between this entire push to the top side, higher high, higher low. So again, gonna be very careful when I'm trading GJ. Just gonna wait for it to clean up. Once again, that confirmation is gonna be here. Once we get this break, that's what's gonna really tell us like, all right, we'll continue to go back up. But if not, then once again, we're at the top of the zone of consolidation. We're gonna get the rejection to go right back down to the bottom. So we'll wait it out. We'll see what price wants to do for GJ. For GU, we are in level 2 on an uptrend, already at the higher high. Right, we're trading at the higher high. We have 5 months that price has been giving us higher highs and higher lows, which is good. Trading in the daily high, the 4-hour high. We're trading at the higher high, looking for a higher low. Let's add a few lines here real quick. Sunday, 5 p.m.
Wait,
Yo.
you don't use a daily separator?
No, it doesn't work on my screen, so I manually have the daily and the 4-hour one.
Okay.
The only one that I use the session break on, like the one that comes with the chart, is a 30-minute, which is this one right here.
Oh, okay.
But that setting on the actual chart, it doesn't work. It doesn't have the right one on the 4-hour or the daily time frame, which is why I turn them off on the 4-hour and the daily, but then I manually just have these on. So like this is just a horizontal line or vertical line, sorry.
So you're doing daily on the 4-hour for still the same times?
No. Daily time frame, it's the first every month. But I manually have these added. Like these are manually added onto the chart.
I see what you're saying.
The 4 hours on Sundays every week. The same thing. Like these are manually added to the chart. I manually add these to the chart.
Okay.
So
that way it's kind of showing you a week's worth of movement.
So we have another rise drop. Could we expect price to continue? If price wanted to continue this uptrend push, it definitely could. Again, level 2, we're looking for price to bounce off the 200. So if price decides to give us a steeper pullback, it could. And again, putting all the pieces together, if look how you put all these rules, right? So boom, 200 EMA in level 2 is here. All right, if you're a fib trader, what are you looking for? A pullback between where? this higher low to this higher high. Cool. If you're looking for a pullback, what are you looking to pull back to? 23.6 and 38.2. Where's the 200 EMA? Where's the pullback to? Where's the fib levels? Everything starts making sense, right? Daily or on the 4-hour time frame, you're pulling back to 800 EMA. Perfect. It's exactly what you want to see. On the 30-minute time frame, nothing on the 30-minute, right? This is where you start seeing the internal time frame movement. In order for us to continue to look for those shorts, the confirmation that price is going to continue to go short, I should say, is going to be if price gives us a valid break of these lows down here. If price gives us a valid break of those lows, then we'll continue to look for shorts. If not, then price is just going to continue to do what it's been doing in this area and just consolidate, and we'll have to look for price to give us a break, right? If we go down to the lower time frame, if we say that price isn't going to give us a steeper pullback, it's just going to stay stuck in this zone of consolidation, right? And we're just going to have to wait for price to break these highs to then continue. And that's okay, right? So we're at least putting ourselves in an area where we're expecting not even expecting, but we know that two things could happen. And once you see both of those things, then you're like, ah, okay. We'll wait for the confirmations. So GU will keep an eye on it. Keep my eyes peeled on you, GU. NZD, USD, we're still in A2, second zone of consolidation. We still don't have a valid break of the lows, no valid break of the highs. We're still just moving sideways. And again, that's okay. Right, we have no continuations on the daily time frame. Right, on the 4-hour time frame, we're still trading between the same higher high, higher low. Price gave us a higher high, then gave us a week of no net, no continuations. And then on the 30-minute time frame, price gave us higher high, higher low, higher high, and then gave us an inducement of the low, a little change of character on the 30-minute. Not a valid break, just little inducement of the low. If price doesn't give us a valid break after this, then we know it's just gonna continue to push to the top side, which is okay. But we'll see what price does. And give us 2 days of drop. Give us a third day on Friday. And after 3 days of drop, market must move sideways or go up. So we'll see. Again, overall, would love to see price start giving us that downtrend push, right? Already on the daily time frame. Again, we don't have a valid break of these lows just yet, so price could just go back up to the top of the zone of consolidation, which is again okay. That could happen. But we're using our point of interest, right? Our first point of interest in level 3 to the downside is the 50 EMA. Price ate that up. Our second point of interest is just the 800 EMA. Our third point of interest is going to be the top of the zone consolidation. So if price decides to start to make lower lows and lower highs here, especially on the 30-minute time frame, and if we start doing that, the change of character on the 4-hour and a change of character, or the break on, or finally the break on the daily time frame, you know, then we'll have our confirmation like, all right, cool, we started our push number 3, and we're gonna start looking to see price turn back around and start the uptrend right after that. So we'll wait it out. Again, the 30-minute looks good at this point. Once again, after 3 days of drop, market must move sideways or go up. So depends on what happens with NZD USD for the remaining of this week. We'll see what we could catch on here. Ideally, again, we'd love to start seeing that change of character, break of structure on the 30. US30. Did I drink all my water? We still got a sip left. We're good. US30, right? We're still in an uptrend, right? We're at a point right now where, let's break this down completely, right? So daily time frame, we know where we're trading at one point. higher high, higher low, higher high, and then price gave us a lower low change of character, lower high, lower low break of structure, right? And then these last 2 months, price decided to go up and gave us a change of character, higher high again, right? So very similar to what we were saying about GJ. If you notice, if we open up these charts side by side, you'll notice something that, again, which is the reason why staying away from GJ, right? And the same reason why I should stay away from US30, but you know, it's never, if you could catch a trade, you could catch a trade, right? But when you're really wanting to see the longevity of it, like, okay, what are we gonna do in the long run? What could I look out for? That's what we don't know. I can't sit here and say like, oh yeah, we're gonna be looking for shorts. Like, no, I have to wake up. The way I took US30, the way US30 is trading, the way GJ is trading, you have to wake up and look at the chart. Whatever is presented to you that day on the chart, that's what you have to take, right? Compared to a trade like what we saw in NZD USD, we know we're in A2. We know that we're looking for shorts. We know that, okay, we know 100% we're only looking for shorts. We can't say that with GJ. We can't say that with gold. We can't say that with Bitcoin at this point. We can't say that with what was other with US30, right? We know what we could say with US oil. We know that we're in A1 on US oil. We know that we're at the bottom of the zone of consolidation. We know that we're looking for shorts, right? But we can't say that with GJ. We can't say that with the US30s and the golds. We just can't. We don't know where price is at because of how it's reacting in these areas, right? So with that being said, yeah, so just take a look at how GJ and US30 look alike. US30 is moving a lot faster, but just think about it: the double top, the push down, the zone of consolidation, the push to the top, the double bottom, the push down, the push back to the top side is the exact same thing, right? Especially as you can see that GJ is just this little area, US30 is this area here, just faster, right? Something that took GJ from July of 2024 to now, US30 did that in fucking 4 months, from March to now. So again, we're in an area where, okay, is this the inducement of the high? We're back at peak high territory. Are we going to continue to push down to the bottom? Again, we know we had gaps at the top of the market that price finally filled. Price gave us gaps at the bottom. Does that tell us that price is just going to go right back down to the bottom? Again, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of questions that we just can't answer. We don't have the questions to that. No trader has the question to that, right? We have 2 weeks of rise. Could price give us a third push to the top side? Absolutely. We have gaps in the market. It resets the trend. Could price not give us that third push? Absolutely. Again, we have gaps in the market. So all we know is that we're trading at a higher high, right? We're trading at a higher high on the 4-hour time frame. We're trading at a higher high on the daily time frame. After a higher high, I'm looking for a pullback, right? And once again, how far back is that pullback? That's another question that we truly don't have the answers to. On a 30-minute time frame, higher high, higher low.
Hey, just to let y'all know, that's where I be messing up at. I be thinking I know what's gonna happen before it's supposed to happen, and then when you get there, you still convince yourself that it's still gonna happen, and then it goes against you because it's taking what it presented. A lot of retail traders fall into that trap, man.
Sometimes you just gotta give yourself the opportunity to just wait for the confirmation. Just waiting for that confirmation, that's it. Right? Because we're in an area now, like even on the 30-minute. Like, alright, 30-minute, where are we? We're trading at a higher low. Right? So a lot of traders, they would look at this as, oh, this is just a simple break and retest. This is where I'm gonna start looking for buys. But then what happens? Price goes down to this 30-minute low, right? And this is where price turns around. So again, it's not that you're wrong, it's just that you're early, right? Does that make sense? A lot of people would look to take a trade here, place a stop loss here, when in reality they should be looking for the retest. They should be looking for it to be down here, And okay, let's say price doesn't come up to here, then perfect. What are you looking for? You're looking for your entry here to then continue, not here. We'll keep it like this. I'm gonna keep this drawing here because I know I have to explain that again tomorrow. Right. At this point, am I gonna put this on my watch list to look for that third push to the top side? I'm not, because I'm not expecting price to give us a push to the top side. I'm really not. I'm really not expecting price to continue. But we'll see. Yep.
Question.
Yeah.
I don't know this TMI, but I just looked at my aunt's 401k. You know, NAS and US30 just spiked. Portfolio was looking fire. I told my aunt, I said, this is the time to really look to take that out. Nice chunk of change. You could leverage this to actually start looking into buying a home, multi-family home, rent out one side, live on one side. I was just in my cousin's wife's brothers, or I guess my in-laws' brothers, and they had this townhome that's 3-bedroom. I don't know if you've seen on my story. Like, I showed his room. Like, he had a whole setup, 3 monitors, whole lot of like anime like figures and stuff like that. But that whole crib was just one half of like a quadplex essentially, because it was like 4 sides to the entire unit, but there was 3-bedroom sections in one quadrant, if that makes sense.
Right.
And then it had like its own garage, its own 2-car garage. So I'm like, if my aunt finds something like that, she could literally live in one, rent out the other 3 sides, and just be chilling, you know?
I mean, shit.
But
you know, I'm not in no position to really give an opinion like that. But you know, if she's comfortable, well, like, I'm not even gonna say like.
In my mind, this is how I see it. This is how I see it, because with the 401k, they're banking on you pulling it out later, and taxes are only going to continue to increase. So even if you take it out now or later, you're going to get taxed, but you're just going to get taxed with more income later. Like, you know, they're going to take more off the top later, even though there's more money there. And then on top of that, it's like she could utilize it to actually like build the things, because she's getting older. You know what I mean? Like, all she really has done is work majority of her life. That's why I really respect mom.
You know, that's another thing I was gonna say too. Like, yo, you know, like, sometimes you just gotta fucking do what you gotta do, bro. You wanna live it up, yo, get that cash, live it up, do what you gotta do. Make that money work for you, though, for sure.
Literally, yeah. That's the thing I was telling her. You gotta just make sure you reinvest it in something else. But don't spend whatever you take out. Just leverage it to get a bigger loan and use that loan to front, and then use the cash to pay back the loan until, you know, whatever you invest in starts paying for that.
It's not about wouldn't be a bad idea. Because I definitely think US30. I think the index is definitely gonna go higher though. But we're talking about, again, a 5 to 10 year plan, like very similar to what happened with COVID. Like, you know, we've been saying this for years. I don't think US30 is gonna. I don't think the indexes are really gonna follow these big ass trends anymore, like we used to in the past. And I'm not saying that it can't happen. I definitely think it could happen, but I really do think that we're gonna go into another cycle to what happened during COVID, where it went from being these big trends to all of a sudden we had just a small trend, right? That only took a few months to make. Right, just a big pullback down to the bottom to then gain the momentum, right? And then we gained momentum again, and we did a little small pullback, just a little retracement, to then continue to where we're at now. Then price gave us another huge retracement, you know, back down to the bottom to then continue. And you got to really think about it, like, what are we following? Like, this is a pair that is manipulated. There's a whole bunch of shit that's connected to the indexes in general. Yeah. So, you know, my analysis when it comes to this is a little bit different. Very similar to gold. Like, it's just a little bit different mindset of just understanding too. Like, again, the people who make the fridges, I forgot what their name was. Like, they closed down their factories in China, and they're gonna stop production over there, and they're gonna take it here to Kentucky, and they just made a $500 million investment, and that's a $500 million investment you just made into the U.S. stock market. Now, in time, like, in the first couple years, you're gonna lose money, because now you're no longer paying Chinese workers $2.50. Like, now you're paying American workers, which is going to be anywhere between factory line workers $16 to the engineers making fucking damn near 100K to 200K a year.
Yep.
Right? And at the end of the day, $16 an hour is more than $2 an hour.
Yep.
Right? It's a bigger margin. So I feel like, yes, it's creating jobs here in America, which is good, but it's also a lot of these companies are going to lose a lot of profit margin, which is bad for the company. But it's American made. So now what?
Yep.
Now you have American supporters buying more American apparel. And that's what we're going to buy. Why would we buy Yamaha when we could buy the American one? So then over time, in the next 5 to 7 years, people are going to start buying more products, and that's what's going to make them more money. So I think in the short term, we're going to see a drop like we did during COVID, but we're going to see a bigger push within the 5 to 7 year mark, the same way we did during COVID. Again, is the 5 year mark. It's 2025. COVID happened in 2019, 2020. 5 year mark, we went up. Short term, we had a fucking huge pullback, but long term, COVID was good for the economy. Why? Because we made everybody miss going outside, and now everybody's going outside and traveling because they missed it. Aw. It's the same way. It's all psychology, bro. So I definitely think that we're in an area where we want to just keep an eye on it, you know.
Thanks.
And just again keep following the trends. We have 2 months of rise already. Already gave us a third push. We already have 2 weeks of rise. This week being the third week. If we get that third push, then we already have the trend.
Do you have a like a diagram of the 3 levels, monthly, daily, like basically on the frames necessary?
Yeah, I should have one. Yeah.
Cause you could send me that, bro. I just want to look that over, and then I'm gonna start kind of like back testing that with the indicator I have, the one that already like does the week outline and the daily.
Gotcha. Honestly, I'm pretty sure I have something like that. USDCAD. Alright, this is still in an uptrend. Still trying to see, are we still trading at level 3 to continue? Or did price reach peak high and then start the downtrend push? We'll have to wait it out and see what price does in these areas, especially in these lows. We already had 3 months of drop, so this month we're expecting price to at least give us a pullback. Still making lower lows and lower highs on the 4-hour time frame. Right, lower low, lower high, lower low, gave us a push, came back down, but we could see that price is kind of giving us small rejections. Let's add a few lines here real quick.
Yeah, bro. I ain't gonna lie, man. I was thinking about it. I was like, man, this is a legal state. I might start selling one.
What the fuck? You lock in, brother. Lock the fuck in.
He said, what the fuck?
We got 2 weeks of counter drop. So this week we'll see if price wants to continue this downtrend push. Still on the 30-minute too. We're still making lower lows and lower highs at this point. Lower low, lower high. I'm not gonna say that this is lower low, lower high, lower low. Like, nah, this is a part. Lower low, lower high, back down here to lower low. Right, so come on, buddy, magnetize to it. Thank you. At this point, we had a day of drop. Then Thursday gave us a day of no net. Then Friday gave us a day of rise. No continuations, but again, want to be careful in this area. I'll start looking for buys once we start making higher highs and higher lows. That's it. And again, once price gives us a confirmation of these lows, we already know. Like, if we got a break of these lows on the daily and the 4-hour time frame, then clean sales. We already know that we're pretty much looking for those sells back down to the bottom. But if not, then we'll start looking at this as a double bottom, right? We even have this on the daily time frame, where again, if it just gives us the inducement and starts giving us higher highs and higher lows, it'll just be a double bottom here on the daily time frame. Right on the 800 EMA, perfect. Right, if we use our fib levels, this is also right on the 50% fib retracement from the previous structure, higher highs and higher lows on the daily time frame. So everything makes sense. The only thing we have to wait for is, again, that lower time frame confirmation. Once we start making higher highs and higher lows, that's when we know when to attack. So right now, just take it easy. You know, could we use a little bit of cheat codes? You can. You know, like here on the 1 hour time frame, you have a beautiful engulfing candle. You know, could we say this is where price is going to give us that pullback on the lower time frame? Again, if we want to do lower time frame work, you could. Now, what does that mean? Super simple. All right, so let's do lower time frame clinical work real quick. All right, 30-minute time frame. We also have a 30-minute engulfing candle. But again, I don't believe that this is going to be a strong area to take a trade. We also have a 15-minute engulfing? Nah, they wouldn't. Nah, no top wick on the green candle. Okay.
Somebody bought some snacks for my Uber today. Then he followed me on Twitch too. Bro's cool as hell.
Yeah,
he was like, bro, I didn't even know you had snacks, bro. I was like, hell yeah. He was like, nah, bro, I'm telling you, Dari, if I really just, I gotta let go of this job.
Your voice, you good? Here? Oh shit, what's good, Mohammed? What's good, bro? Always double engulfing, donut walk. Yeah, no, you're not wrong. That's why definitely, those double engulfings usually don't work, right? But this is where that lower time frame kind of goes in handy, right? Where you had lower low, lower high, lower low, right? Then you had low, lower high, lower low. Then you have higher high, change of character, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Then you have change of character, lower low, lower high. Then you have this break of structure on the lower time frame. So definitely gonna be looking for a pullback. We'll see. Yeah, I would love to see. It would be a lot different, right? If you had, for example, there was a trade before that it wasn't beginning of this year, I think it was. It was like a double or triple engulfing, but the biggest difference was structure had already played out, meaning that price had already given you the change of character and break of structure. At the low of the break of structure retest, it gave you 2 engulfing or 3 engulfing candles in the 3 different time frames, which looked perfect, right? In this case, we don't have that. In this case, we're still making lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, right? Price could definitely just eat this up and continue that lower low push, right? Which is why I'm always saying I just want to wait for that change of character, break of structure. I don't care about taking a trade here because I can miss an entry here, but I'm gonna take it up here, right? I'm fine with that. So we'll wait for the confirmation. There's no need to rush. Booba, did you disconnect? Or you here still?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, your voice roboted. My bad.
My voice messed up?
Yeah, like I didn't. Your voice cut out as soon as you started speaking.
Oh.
GJ had a 1 hour engulfing, then a 5-minute one Wednesday.
That is so loud.
Violated the 5 almost, violated the 1 hour.
Let's take a look.
GJ had a 1 hour engulfing, then a 5-minute engulfing. Oh yeah, this one. Oh yeah, you told me this. Or this was the one you were telling me about, right? The other day. But yeah, they almost did violate the 1 hour. Got close to it. Yeah, no, and that's what I was saying earlier. Like, I don't really trust anything on GJ right now, especially in this area, right? Like, we pretty much took a trade. You know, the reason why I got super close, even though it worked out, but it got super close. It was just hunting stop losses, right? Because you're in the middle of that structure where like price is just kind of moving sideways. So it is gonna start, you know, hitting stop losses, and that's why I used the lower time frame. Like those people on the lower time frame, that's the people it got out. And then the traders who were nervous on the higher time frame, you know, they got out of that early too. They're like, oh fuck it, I'm getting out. But again, this is where candlestick analysis comes in handy, because price already gave you exhaustion candles, and they continue to give you exhaustion candles. So you really just had to babysit the trade. There is nothing wrong with this trade at all. Very similar to the trade that I caught for GU. The reason why I held the trade on GU was because even though this one got super close to stop loss, in comparison to EU and comparison to US30, that price went straight to TP. even though price was getting close to the stop loss, like very, very close, it literally missed it by less than a pip, right? But what was price printing? It continued to it continued to print engulfing candles, right? The entire time. It even gave us that morning star candle on the 30-minute time frame, right? Shout out E once again for teaching me these structures, man. For real, for real. Right, you go down to the lower time frames and you see that too. Where like, okay, yeah, price is just giving us exhaustion candles. But the 30-minute time frame, like I was babysitting that trade. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna stay in, brother. It looks great. So there's nothing wrong with taking trades like that. There's nothing wrong with price getting close to stop losses. But again, the reason why that happened is the whole point, right? Like, why did that happen on GJ? Very similar to why did that happen on GU, is because, once again, where are we trading? Right? We were in a zone of consolidation. And where were we? In the middle of the zone of consolidation. So again, once again, there's nothing wrong with taking a trade. There's how you execute it. Understanding, like, okay, this is not a best area to take a trade. Does that mean you can't take a trade? No, that means you could take a trade. You just have to babysit it. Wait for the confirmations. And then you're good. Again, if that's what you want to do and babysit the trades, then you have to understand when you have to do that and when you don't have to do that. So, the same, again, the same thing that happened with your trade on GJ is the same thing that happened with mine. The only difference was you got to stay on the higher time frame when you're trading in these areas, because you want to make sure that you don't get violated. Your stop loss is going to get violated if you're trading in the middle of the zone of consolidation in the lower time frame. Right, so it's very important to keep that in mind. Are we finished yet, man? I've been doing this for an hour and a half. We're almost done, guys. USDZAR, I'm not trading USDZAR. I'm just gonna update this, man. Give me a minute. We filled that gap up finally. Still looking for price to start giving me higher highs and higher lows. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this, Grandma. I wanna go home.
Yo, this just got turned on no scope. Oh my god. For the final kill cam is crazy.
Alright, we got 2 weeks of drop.
They dropped rank, by the way, for Splitgate.
I don't want to play that shit.
Hey, there's no hackers, or at least I know that for a fact.
I just want the markets to open.
Yeah, so do I. It's okay though. We actually, it did just open. Just open just now. Yeah, refresh page.
I had to deafen. You said, yup, facts. Yup. Alright, so guys, I'm just gonna speed up here. We're only missing gold, Bitcoin, and oil. Again, gold very similar to the other pairs, right? We're in peak high territory. We're in the highest point in the market. We're in the middle of the zone of consolidation. We have gaps at the top and the bottom of the market. No continuations. Once again, we're just still in the zone of consolidation. Let's see if we filled this gap up. Did we? No, we didn't. So, yeah, I don't know. For gold, I'm in an area where I'm just not really looking to take a trade. We have 3 days of rise. Everything is happening the way it's supposed to happen. 3 days of rise. After 3 days of rise, the market must move sideways or go down. It went down. Reset the trend. Friday gave us a push to the top side. Again, we're just rejecting highs and rejecting lows in the zone of consolidation. We still have this gap at the top. Again, I am expecting price to at least fill that gap. But when it comes to structure, again, 30-minute time frame, our real structure where price is moving from is between this lower low, lower high, lower low, and then price came up and gave us a change of character, higher high. So for me on golds, I'm not really touching this at this point. We don't have a valid break. Structure doesn't make sense. We're in the middle of the zone of consolidation. I'm chilling off of gold. Like I was saying earlier, there will be some times where you have to babysit a trade or just wait for valid confirmations. And right now, gold is one pair that I'm just waiting it out. I'm not going to mess with gold. I'm not messing with gold. Bitcoin, I'm also not really messing with, so I'm just going to skip over this one. We'll update it, obviously. Keep it updated so I'm not lost in the sauce when I come back to it. You should have called that a no net, but whatever. Again, we don't have a valid break of these highs just yet. These were just testing candles, so I'm not gonna update that. 4-hour time frame, we're still trading between the previous higher high and higher low. We had a week of rise, then this week gave us a 2 weeks of rise. So this week, could we expect price to give us a third push? Again, it could happen. Am I expecting it? Not really, man. Not really. I'll take a look at US30 again and really give you a valid confirmation of that. But like, I'm really not expecting these pairs to just continue to push to the top side. Again, it could. Like, the drawings make sense. Everything makes sense here. We're still making higher highs and higher lows. It's just, you know, 2 weeks of rise, looking for a third week is very similar. You know, US30 and Bitcoin are the same shit right now. So we'll see. And then US oil. Again, guys, any other questions, let me know. Oil, we are in A2. We're looking for a valid break of these lows. Price gave us a valid break. We made a lower low. We're technically already in level 2. In level 2 in a downtrend. Price came up to the 800, got into our engulfing candle, tapped it, went down. We're below our 200 EMA. Again, no continuations on the daily time frame. On the 4-hour, we had a week of drop, and then this week price went up, gave us a week of rise. So no continuations on the 4-hour time frame. And then on the 30-minute, we had a change of character, lower low, but then price didn't give us a valid break, just gave us an inducement, and we've been stuck in a zone of consolidation since then. So no confirmation just yet, no continuations just yet. Just gotta wait this one out. Once we get a little bit more movement, then we'll start taking it. But that's pretty much it, guys. Any questions, let me know. Any other pairs you guys want me to go over, let me know. If not, then we'll be done for the night, and we'll be back again tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m., 7 a.m. for the live trading session. Any questions, any pairs, anything else you guys want me to talk about, anything you guys want me to go over, let me know. My bad. You got any other questions? Any pair you want me to go over real quick? Or you good?
No, I was chilling for real. I was just about to head on a bit. I gotta go grab my sister, and then